All my friends think my girlfriend is creepy and think I should leave her, but I love the way she is. I, 22 male, started dating my girlfriend, let's call her Alice, 21 female, about 7 months ago. We met while working on a group project for one of our college classes. From the moment I met her I felt an instant connection. She was beautiful, smart, and we shared a bunch of common interests. Long story short, we flirted for a few weeks before I finally asked her out, and we've been happily going out since. Now here comes the problem. About a month ago my friends and I were planning to hang out and I invited Alice. While me and Alice are from the same hometown, we met during college and a majority of our relationship has been during the school year. While we know each other's college friends, we'd never met each other's hometown friends. I know that Alice has really bad social anxiety, so I was hesitant to invite her at first, but when I did ask she seemed nervous but really excited. The party seemed to go really well. Alice was smiling and laughing the whole time and even got to go on a rant about a topic she really liked. When it was over she even told me while I was taking her home how much she liked my friends. When I asked my friends what they thought of Alice, they all said she seemed nice. All except my best friend Ruben, 22 male. When I asked him, he told me that he hated her. I immediately questioned why, hoping it was them not mixing well, as I can acknowledge that Ruben and Alice are complete opposites when it comes to interests and personality, but Ruben told me he hated her because of how creepy she is and I was better off dumping her. Now this threw me off as I had never once considered Alice creepy. She's actually the cutest girl I'd ever met and I've never felt more comfortable around someone as I do around her. Before I could even ask what he meant, he went off on a rant about how uncomfortable she made him, and started citing stories I told him about our dates during college. Stuff like how she'd stare at me without saying anything and just enjoyed looking at me, how she eats the same meals whenever we went to dinner, how unjealous she was when a girl came up and flirted with me, or about her deep knowledge of poisons and love for murder mysteries and true crime. Both of which she could talk about for hours, but neither of which she actually talked about at the party. He said that while he wrote them off before since they didn't seem to bother me, which they don't, but that after meeting her in person and seeing how weird and flighty she was, he can tell that she's a secret psycho and will end up either breaking my heart or physically hurting me. I tried to explain to him how any weirdness was, probably just because she was nervous about meeting them for the first time, but he insisted that we've had friends' significant others have anxiety before and it was that she was plain weird. I blew him off at first cause he sounded crazy. Alice isn't perfect but she's far from creepy, but after 2 weeks of him telling me to dump her and me getting tired of telling him to drop it, I reached out to a few of our friends to prove him wrong, but to my surprise they all agreed that Alice was creepy. Most of them said that the way she spoke really threw them off, which is fair since Alice can be weirdly formal sometimes, but I didn't notice her doing that at the party at all and typically it's much more funny than unsettling. Most of my friends told me it wasn't enough to break up with her since they still genuinely found her sweet and fun to be around, but I did have one other friend say it was worth breaking up over and he was just too embarrassed to tell me at first. I have no plans of breaking up with Alice because all the stuff they're calling creepy I find cute when she does, but are they right? Is it creepy she does that stuff? Should I talk to her about it? Should I just tell my friends to piss off and ignore their concerns? I feel bad for even questioning about this, but with all my friends agreeing it's starting to gnaw at me, and I just need some clarification if it's actually creepy or if they're just being dramatic. Update 9 days later. Wow, thank you all so much for your helpful comments and validation. I'm glad y'all agree that the stuff Alice is doing wasn't really creepy. Anyway, to get into the meat of this update. Since I posted originally, I spoke with each of my friends individually and talked to them about what they said. Pretty much all of them apologized and some even offered to apologize to Alice herself, which at the time I said no to since I didn't really want them interacting with her, but we'll get back into that later. The only one who didn't apologize, as I'm sure you guessed, was Ruben. I want to address some comments suggesting that Ruben could either be attracted to me or maybe even Alice. I don't think either of those are true, as Alice is the first girlfriend Ruben has ever acted like this with, even though I've dated plenty of girls, and Alice isn't his usual type. He may still be attracted to her, I mean she is freaking gorgeous, but I've known the guy since 3rd grade and so I know he's pretty picky about the girls he's with. So I don't think it's that I think he's just a major jerk. I've known Ruben literally my whole life, since our moms were college friends and moved close to each other when we were young. With so much history I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt by just asking him to drop it since I really didn't care if he found her creepy. I really liked her and he'd just have to deal with it if he wanted to continue being friends. He didn't apologize or even say he was wrong, but he did agree to stop commenting on it. Which isn't perfect but works for now as I consider if I really want to continue to be friends with him. Yesterday I met up with Alice for a casual date. It wasn't anything fancy, just a home picnic. I have really bad allergies so we couldn't do it outside. We had some candles and our favorite foods and we watched movies and dissected our favorite tropes. About halfway through our 3rd movie Alice brought up Ruben, since she heard about an upcoming car show and auction her dad told her about, and she remembered me saying that he loved vintage cars, and suggested the 3 of us and a friend of hers who was also into cars could go together, so she could get to know him better. It felt crazy that she suggested this days after mine and Ruben's fight, and it made me feel sick with how sweet she was being to such a jerk. I gave some weak excuses about how she hates car shows and doesn't have to do that, or how Ruben wouldn't be comfortable doing that. My girlfriend, being the angel she was, said she could tough through it or even just let me and Ruben go together if he wasn't comfortable with her yet, and she'd even pay for the tickets because it was a private showing. This was the point I broke and told her everything that happened. She took it really well, just calmly listening while I rambled through my explanation and even ended up apologizing to me about weirding out her friends. I tried to explain it wasn't her fault and she didn't need to apologize. As a lot of you suspected, she ended up telling me how she believed she was autistic, but she hadn't gotten an official diagnosis, so she wasn't comfortable telling people. After a lot of guiltily back and forths between the two of us, she told me she didn't want me cutting off my friends since they did apologize and didn't say anything cruel, just pointed out her neurodivergent tendencies, which aren't an insult to her. But I put my foot down that I for sure won't be bringing her around Ruben anymore and plan to distance myself from him and my other friends for the time being, which she agreed was fair. She also wants to meet up with my friends who want to apologize to her since they seem genuine in their regret. Overall, things turned out pretty well, and thank you all so much for your input.